Ever.
Be advised, suspect is armed and extremely dangerous.
It could be better, couldn't it, Junior?
Yeah, this sucks.
Yeah,
Junior, this sucks, man. Let's get a count here. Let's get a count. This sucks bad. We have some beeliners and other various snappers. There's a grouper here, but man, I tell you what, this time of year you don't want to catch them. Because you got thrown back. Unless your name is Wes.
they're just tough.
Some amberjack here, kings. He's staying deep. He's staying deep, so that's probably not a king.
Probably what do you think? Bear
Out of gear, out of gear. Either that or he don't know he's hooked yet. Yeah, that's a king. All right.
Never did get excited enough. He just
There he is.
Yep, busted.
oh my God. Did y'all see all that?
Hell yeah.
Look.
Hell yeah. Yep. So I don't know if that was a king or a bonita.
That was a bonita.
Yes, sir.
That was on a live bait, guys.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yeah, buddy. What you have live?
That was one of those. Yeah. What you think it is, Trevor?
Cuda.
Cuda?
Well, if I got in reverse, so if she's pulling you.
No, going up there.
Have y'all got a bitch butt? What, he get amberjack?
Yep.
Coming on, man. Dog food or JR food?
Shit, Reed's gotta have plenty of dog food.
Yeah. I heard.
Hey, Lordy.
Hey, Lordy.
That was a great trip. My wife said tell you thank you, Pete.
Thank you so much.
Now he knows. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately because now he's gonna keep them all.
Well, did you see that post Keith made?
I don't think I did. No,
He said
I haven't been on Facebook much the last couple of days. Been busy here with everything, pre-tournament fishing, that kind of stuff. So
he said them black bass will be gone in 2 weeks.
oh, he did. Yeah, he's right.
Nah, I ain't gonna hit your hole that hard.
Nah, it's fine. There's a lot of other places there within 3 miles of that spot. So,
well, we got Anthony Johnson should be on here anytime. Rusty Griffin had to cancel. He got stuck down in Beaufort, or he said he wasn't going to be home in time. And
Gotcha.
Anthony Johnson's going to be on here shortly, or supposed to be. If he can figure out how to log on, I may have to call him. What's up, David? What's up, Matthew? Kevin Wallace, Josh Tobias.
Mercer. Dang, Mercer, how come you weren't out on Norman today, man? It was a dang humdinger out there today in the cold rain. And I don't want to say the wind. It was actually nice and tame today.
Pete, I'm inviting somebody. I'll be right back.
Wow, that went by fast.
It was a whole 5 minutes.
How long has it been over?
5 minutes? Oh, a minute maybe.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry about that. Welcome to the show, everybody.
So who'd you send invites to, Jar?
I sent invites to Anthony Johnson. Sent an invite to Daniel Skipper. Sent an invite to Dieter Melhorn. He's also a guide.
Oh, I forgot about Dieter. Have you talked to him?
Huffy. Get Huffy on there.
Lee Huffman. I didn't send one to Lee. I didn't send one to Lee. Rusty. Sent one to Rusty.
I think Rusty got tied up.
Yeah, Joshua Skinner said I had y'all muted. Y'all aren't muted, are you? No. I can hear you just fine. Let me send one to Lee Huffman. Okay. A little short notice, Lee, but hey, if you get a chance.
He might be working at the fire station there, so he might not be able to get on.
And
Well, we still muted Josh.
no, they're not muted. Oh.
There's my buddy Benji.
All right. Well, our co-host here, Wes, is also a guide.
That's
Matter of fact, he guided us this weekend.
Every dog has their day.
Speaking of, how did you like my little Bolo intro there I made?
It was
you
great.
today?
I liked it.
It was cool, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually got Fiverr to do that, and I added the sound effects, but
That's
yeah,
nice.
they did the little animation. It's cool.
Everyone thinks that I might be current law enforcement. Just to make it clear, I am former law enforcement. Kind of hence the whole Bolo thin blue line thing. I did it for, we'll say, just shy of 6 years. So I still, once a cop, always a cop, kind of, sort of.
It's a cool thing. I mean, you're probably going to lose some of the old, the old pothead crowd.
Yeah, it's all good. Absolutely, that's fine by me.
Yeah, but yeah, that is cool. Speaking of like losing the pothead crowd, what would you say would be your what is your favorite type of client to get? Like, when you pull up to the dock and it's this client and you're thinking in your head, all right, I'm going to go all out for this person.
So I, generally ask a lot of questions when someone books me. I kind of get down to the point. What is their intent of the trip? Okay, not because I don't ask that because I want to be careful what I do. I want to see what they want to do as far as do they want to learn to troll? Do they want to catch meat? Do they want to learn the lake? That kind of stuff, So my favorite clients overall are the ones that are like, hey, I just want to go fishing. So I'm like, all right. So those are the ones there that generally I have the better trips because I fish my way. I kind of make my own decisions, kind of, sort of. And from there we have, pretty decent trips. I guess we'll call it a close second there. The guys that really want to learn a troll because the meat fillers, for the most part, you're kind of in tune to wanting to put meat in the box. And so if plan A don't work, now you're kind of losing patience on a half-day trip. And now you got to kind of pull something out of your ass and find something else pretty quick. If not, the trip might be a bust, So you're running all over the lake trying to fill the goal.
Because 8 hours goes by pretty quick. As we
know, most
fishing
of my
tournaments.
trips are half days though, so they're 4 hours.
Hey, Pete. All right, we got a question here. Go. I don't know that. I don't know if you can see this on the screen.
I see it. Let's see.
So that's the guide. How expensive is the insurance, and who do you go through?
Well, so first of all, I am not a full-time guide. I want to make sure that, that's clear there. And to be quite honest, I call it a charter because technically I have my 6-pack. So I am an authorized charter business. In NC, it's a little different. Charter guide. I have the right to saltwater and freshwater. The guides are freshwater only. I think there's a couple lakes that might be an exclusion to that. I don't want to get in that, the detail.
So do you have like 2 different licenses, or is that just one license?
It's basically one license, but it's basically it covers everything.
So you just had to pay a little extra for them. I mean,
a little extra. You actually got to have an online class, all that kind of stuff there. But insurance wise, it's not that terrible. Trying to get them out here. It's maybe double of what you maybe pay right now, just overall. A lot of these places, like the marina I keep my boat at, in order for you to operate at the marina, you must have liability of $1 million, and so that's really not that terrible as far as the additional premium on the insurance.
Now, is that on the guy? Because I had to have liability insurance to keep my boat at Cricket Cove. But my limit was $75,000.
Yeah, no, this is a $1 million liability out of any marina. I say it's not like it's a law or anything. It's just what they require, and why I don't know. But it's not much additional per year or per month or.
What is that? What type of insurance is that?
Meaning what?
Well, now they want my insurance being, if something happens to my boat while it's there.
So in lieu of everything, you have that plus liability. The liability must be at least $1 million. Nothing else really matters as far as what the marina requires whatsoever.
Okay.
Is this new? See Benji's picture on the comment? I don't remember that. New. Yeah, that's cool. I like
Benji, to answer your question there, I don't do it full time, so therefore I don't really care to have a website. All of mine's done via Facebook. Basically, I have a Facebook page, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, you're a pilot, so
correct.
You don't want to get too busy.
Yeah, because COVID, man, I was slam busy.
You like to fish a lot. You like the fun fish. You like to fish tournaments. So you don't really want to invest too much time in the guiding.
Medium. That's the thing. My goal for running charters was to have like a break-even point as far as running charters where I can cover all insurances, storages, payments, so on and so forth, So that's what my goal was with running charters, and I have no issue with, having it that way whatsoever. So on average, I'll take, not counting, we're not going to count offshore trips because I'm kind of sort of just dipping my toes in that right now. It's kind of hard for me to take one day and go down there, run a charter and come back, So
right.
I normally do 1 week at a time in June and 1 week at a time in October. And then a few days here and there. But as far as, lake fishing around here, I'll do roughly 30 to 40 trips per year.
Yeah. And you would kill yourself if you try to go full-time guide.
Absolutely. There's no way
and continue to do what you do now.
I about need a secretary to keep track of all the dang texts and emails and messages I get nowadays just for the lakes around here. Seriously.
I mean, and you're stacking paper as a pilot. So
well,
you'd probably have to work a whole lot harder to make what you make as a pilot. Guiding or charter.
True. Just a little side note. I got my papers for upgrade yesterday. So I'm got a decision to make here next week.
You're going to a bigger aircraft?
Going to captain.
Okay, you're first officer, so you're going to go on over to captain.
We're going to see. So,
are you excited or?
I'm excited. At the same time, I have to sacrifice a lot of off time for that too. So, do I want to do it now?
Do you want to do it
until next year?
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, Peter Malik might not be the champion come next year because he's going to be working all the time. So that's a good thing.
Who knows? Yeah. Benji. Sorry to change subject there. Benji, to answer your question there again, best time, and my favorite time is October, hands down, middle of October.
Middle of October.
Second is basically the first couple weeks of June.
Where's it gonna be at? Well, y'all look in your Facebook Messenger. Hey, y'all, let me get out here for a minute. I got to help Anthony. I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay. So what inspired you to start guiding, Peter?
I wanted to have it as a backup plan because, in my line of work, something could happen one day to where now all of a sudden I can't fly airplanes, whether it's an injury, accident, illness, something. So, I kind of sort of want to dip my toes into guiding, but at the same time, I love fishing, so I do a lot of it, as you know. And some wise man many years ago said, "Hey, you should give this a try, man, because you can catch some damn fish." I'm like, well, yeah, maybe if it's worthwhile, give it a try. So when COVID happened, I got furloughed for a little bit and decided to kind of give a go at it, man. Let me tell you what, I about fished every day in December of, was it 2020? I think it is, during the height of COVID. I fished about every day in December, double half days. And then I'd say half the month of January as well, every day. So yeah, it was eye-opening. I mean, it is a damn job. Like, these guys that do it full time, I don't know how they do it, man. Because after 2 days, I'm toast. I can't do it. 2 straight days.
And the thing about that is, I don't think it gets easier.
No.
Like, most businesses, when you start a business, the first couple of years are kind of rough, then things kind of settle in, things get a little easier. Don't think that's necessarily true when it comes to guiding. I think that
it's not,
it might even get harder.
It's very humbling, man, because like you go one day, and I've had this happen a couple times. You go one day, you absolutely kill the fish, and you have a great day, both morning and afternoon trips. So that evening, you tell the guys coming next morning, man, it was a great day. We're going to kill them this morning, so on and so forth. Get there, shut down, nothing. So now you're like, damn, what do I do now? But you work hard and try to find them, find somewhere else to get them.
Can't make them bite.
You can't. You can't at all. It's like today, on Lake Norman, they chewed. Tomorrow might be different.
I don't know how to pronounce that guy's name. I'm going to try to. Gasal92 asked, as a guide, how expensive is the insurance and who do you go through?
Yeah, so we kind of sort of touched on that question earlier. Who I go through, I'm insured via Geico, but I think it's subcontracted through Boat US. I think it is. I double check that, but yeah, I shopped around a little bit. Progressive has an option, I think it is, but they are an absolute pain in the ass to deal with. So nah. Geico has been pretty good to me thus far with all my issues.
Well, there's Bushwhacker. He's been guiding for quite some time. I remember when I first got into striper fishing, Bushwhacker was a name that everyone knew. So yeah. He's been at it for quite a many years now. And we were just talking Bushwhacker. Does it get easier? Does it ever get easier? And he's instantly froze up, I think.
So Bushwhacker, I think I know of Bushwhacker there. Good friends with, what's his name? Daryl Barney, right? I think it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Daryl bought his boat. Daryl's been with him a good bit.
Wes, you're muted, by the way. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, gosh. Did you mute yourself, Wes? Okay. Did you know you were muted, Wes?
No, you said the host has unmuted your mic.
I unmuted you. Yeah. Okay.
Anthony,
that's Weed Whacker, not Bushwhacker, right? According to our trip the other day, we talked about Weed Whacker.
That's Doug Cole, yeah. Bushwhacker, you want to hop off and then hop back in? Make sure you're on your Wi-Fi.
Let's see.
Jason, I have never skunked ever.
Oh God.
I do have.
Here we go.
I haven't ever.
Come on, set the ego to the side, Peter.
A lot of times, a bass, a simple bass, or one of those damn catfish will save a skunk.
Hey,
but no, overall, Lake Norman, I have pretty dang good trips. I don't ever catch nothing there, honestly. Some of these other lakes, like Baden Lake or High Rock, I'll sweat a skunk there sometimes, but oftentimes I'll pull something out of my ass and catch something. But I mean, if I have a slow day, we catch 2 or 3 fish, I charge half price. I don't really, I'm not.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. Let me tell you, I've been with one guide, and I had been to the James River a couple of times and caught a bunch of fish. And my buddy of mine wanted to go, And instead of us just taking my boat and going, he wanted to get a guide. So he went ahead and went ahead of me and got a guide. And we went down there and we skunked.
Can you hear me now?
Can hear you now. We were
I
talking
barely hear
earlier.
y'all.
We were talking earlier, Bushwhacker. Does it ever get easier being a guide?
Does it ever get easy? I can't hardly hear y'all.
Turn your volume up on your phone.
I got it wide open.
JR,
wide
can you
open,
turn his
bro.
volume up?
Do what?
Can you turn Anthony's volume up?
Let me see.
Hello.
Hello.
How about now, Anthony?
I can barely.
It's probably his connection, I think. I don't know.
Uh-oh, here we go.
I turned it up.
Oh boy, the heavy hitters here now.
There's Deets.
Now we got the guys on here.
Alive.
What's up? What's up, ladies?
I don't know.
Hello.
We can hear you loud and clear, Bushwhacker.
Really?
What-
I don't
So
understand.
just go ahead with the question. Do you does it ever get easier?
Does it ever get any easier?
Yes.
I don't know. The first couple years when I was doing it, it was a little rough, trying to get clients and making sure you can put them on fish. And then the more you do it, the easier it gets. I still to this day, as long as I've been doing it, when I get somebody on the boat that's never been with me before, I'm worried to death I'm not going to catch them, which I always do. But, after the first fish comes over in the boat, I'm good. But up until that time, I just want to make sure I do a good job, and I guess that's a lot of it because I care about my clients. So, if I didn't give a damn about them, I wouldn't care if I called them or not. But I ain't that way.
I think I've heard you say that before when you went live with clients on the boat. You finally get that first fish, and it's like the pressure's off. You were starting.
That's right.
Anxiety was kicking in. You were starting to get a little pressured, and then you finally hook up with that first fish, and it's like, whew, okay,
Yeah.
we're good.
All right, I got a question. And the way I was wanting to do this tonight, we're going to ask questions and then let everybody answer. So I guess the way I'm looking at it on my screen, I'm going to ask this question and let Pete answer. Then we'll go over to Dieter and then to Bushwhacker.
Okay.
What's y'all's favorite part of guiding? What do you like most about it?
I like when the kids get excited, so I have a lot. I do most of my guiding in the wintertime. So generally speaking, my clients in the wintertime are guys that fish quite regular, so I don't have the first timers or the ones that just want to do something for a day, come out. So they basically know what they're doing, So I think the most exciting thing is seeing someone get a personal best, especially a kid on the boat.
Dieter?
What's my favorite part about it? That's a good question. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. It's kind of an unbroken chain of stuff that makes it fun. I mean, it's as much as I'm not a people person, it is nice. I have met an amazing range of people doing what I do.
That's a good one too. Absolutely.
That is pretty cool. I mean, all walks of life, from people working in coal mines in West Virginia to special ops guys out of Fort Bragg, and just all over the place, man. That's the cool part. I mean, putting people on personal best, that's great too. I get a good range. I've got them that get on the boat with a 6-pound channel cat being their biggest fish, and there's hope there. And then I get some that get on the boat that have 50, 60, 70-pound fish as a personal best, and I go, well, we'll try to have a good time anyway. So all that kind of stuff is fun. I don't know. It's we take a lot for granted. I taped a podcast with Spencer from River Certified, and it's easy doing this to take kind of stuff for granted. And the best way to put yourself in check is when you're out there on the water, look around the water and just see how many other people are out there fishing. There's usually not a lot. And the fact that you're able to go out there and do that, and if you can make a living doing it, it's pretty cool. So that's one of my things, is kind of just taking a breath and going, what am I thankful for, and thankful that I have the time, ability, and wherewithal to do
I
that.
bet you hear a lot of cool stories. You know, you were talking about the different types of people, how you get like veterans and whatnot. I bet you've probably heard some stories.
Especially on the solo trips. When you get a group of people, it's a little different story. I've had some grown men break down and cry over stuff before. It's almost like when you're out there one-on-one, it can be like being in a confessional almost. You're locked in there in a small space for 6, 7, 8 hours, and if the fishing is slow or in between, and you get to talking, and as you can tell, I talk a lot. And
Peter does like to talk.
Yep. I'm not afraid. I'm interested in people as much as I'm not a people person. I'm interested in human stories from everybody. Really not so much the famous people. I really could. People have hit me up about the podcast, all these famous Bill Dance and blah, blah. I could care less about talking to Bill Dance. I could care less about, I know Jimmy Houston, but I'm not going to call him up to do a podcast just because of who he is. I like the stories from common people. And that's the cool part about doing it too, is you get some people that really, I mean, they can, some of them will confess their soul to you. And that's kind of it's a rewarding thing. And it's something that we're lucky to be able to do. For a lot of people, being out there is therapy.
Yeah.
Anthony Johnson, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
What's your favorite thing about guiding?
Putting people on fish that they've never caught before, the biggest fish. Like you was talking, I mean, what my biggest thing is, I ask guys, how'd you find out about me? Things like that. I had a guy one time, he called me, we booked a trip, got on the boat, we caught some fish. And, I'm just in the conversation, how'd you find out about me? And he said, well, I seen in the Towboat USA. I said, yeah. He said they did a centerfold of one of my boats up there at Melton Hill Dam. And I had 3 guys on, and we all hooked up, or they were all hooked up at the same time. And they took pictures of that, and it put it in the centerfold of the magazine. And I remember it, but I didn't think much about it. And I was like, I said, where are you from? He said, I'm from Abu Dhabi. I said, where? Abu Dhabi.
Georgia.
He said, yeah. I said, that's like on the other side of the world, right? He said, yeah. I said, so what do you do? He said, I build helicopters. I said, do what? And just, that was pretty cool. You never know where you're going to meet somebody. And
that is awesome.
That was really pretty nice, pretty neat deal.
Well, you've been doing it longer than about anybody I know, Bushwhacker, Anthony. And I got one question for you.
Uh-huh.
Do you still enjoy it?
Do I still enjoy it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I mean, not that I'm getting paid to do it, but, everybody, you gotta work somewhere. And I get to enjoy God's creation every morning.
But
I wake up before the sun. I'm on the water before the sun comes up,
Let me tell you a little story about Anthony. I fished with him. It was year before last or last year. We were fun fishing. And he said, we're going to go up here to, we're at Loudon Dam, and we went down there to a little bait hole, and bait was hard to catch. And he did have his live on. That's the first time I'd ever seen live. Anthony's one that actually showed me how to look at live, how to judge it, and where you're throwing your net. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, I've never seen nobody throw a net like Anthony Johnson did. He throwed that net, honestly. I bet he throwed it, and I'm not exaggerating, 50 times there in about 3 hours. And I asked him, I said, dude, why are you so picky about this bait? What's the deal? I said, hell, we're getting plenty of bait. And he's going through he said, no, put that one back. Keep this and put that. What the fuck, dude? It's bait.
Bait's
said,
the most important thing.
And he said, this is how I catch my customers' fish. He said, I got to have this bait for tomorrow. Make sure we get on fish. So that right there is dedication. I mean, it's
Amen. Amen. It's like on Norman. The best bait that you can have on Norman is alewives.
That's right.
You can't catch them. You know, they're deep. Like right now, they're deep. The fish are feeding on them in the main channel. You can't really catch them. But like this tournament that's coming up this weekend, if you could show up with a bait tank full of Lake Norman alewives that you caught on Lake Norman, you're going to crush the competition.
I
Same thing.
can tell you firsthand, they ain't as deep as you think they are right now.
Okay. Well,
I got one more
Trust
question,
me.
y'all.
Trust me.
A lot of the guys that catch the
They are
alewives,
within,
they're actually
they are
catching them
within
on light
cast
food
net
at night.
distance. I can tell you that.
Do what now?
They're within cast net distance.
well, let's not get confused with threadfin now. Because there's
No, alewives. I
When I
promise
went-
you.
when I went out there this past Sunday, I noticed that the threadfin were up shallow. The fish that I caught in 40 feet or less were they actually spit two different fish spit up threadfin, about 3-inch threadfins. And I'm assuming that the fish that are suspended out there in the main channel in 60, 70, 80 feet of water, I'm assuming they're out there chasing alewives, but I don't know.
Yeah, they are.
So I got to ask y'all one more question because I know that, and this is me, if I was a guide and I have took people fishing before that really got on my nerves was how many times do you get people on the boat and if you're not catching fish within the first 10 or 15 or 20 minutes, they want to start telling you how to do it or what to do or you need to do this.
Oh yeah. You don't know what you're doing. If you ain't
you're-
caught up, if you ain't catching them, you don't know what you're doing. That's the way people think.
And then you get and you're like in the back of your head, I'm stuck on the boat for 8 fucking hours with this person, and oh my God, it's not worth the money. How many times does that happen to y'all?
I kind of felt like that the other day with Wes on board. Really, God alive, the worst damn person ever. Come on.
I tell them like this. I said, I'm a God. I ain't God.
That's right. How about you, Dieter?
I had a
You get
guy
all that?
years ago. They were luckily I don't have many people that want to fill a cooler with fish. The people and that's probably because of the YouTube channel. They're not the typical Santee type people. But I had one and we were fishing on Watery. Water wasn't on in the river. Springtime, good time to be there. Water wasn't on yet. We weren't getting bit. And he kept on saying, I can't believe you're killing those baits. You need to be fishing them baits live. You need to be putting them out live. And this went on for a while. I think we'd be catching fish if those fish were live. That wasn't cut bait. I said, we'll put some out. I said, we'll put some out. I said, I'll make a deal with you. I said, at the end of the day, I said, you give me $20 for every fish we catch on cut bait, and I'll take $20 off the price for every one we catch on live bait. As far as I know, 2 of them live baits are still alive out there swimming around in Lake Watery to this day. As soon as they turn the water on, you know what happened. Fish start feeding, scent starts getting spread around. Those cut baits started, and it was one that, but honestly, as far as bad clients, I've really not had any, dude. I've been the worst I've had, and people always ask that question. I had a guy that was extremely quiet. He just did not want to talk. And, you try to engage people and, and it was, it's like, oh, so what do you do back where you're at? I'm an electrician. I was like, oh, okay. I said, you got your own business there? You work for somebody? Yeah, I work for somebody. I was like, okay, it's my turn to talk again. And this went on for about 20 questions. And, that was the most awkward one. But,
I found that some
about
people
it. I've
just
been
love
lucky.
their alone time out there. Like, you get some folks that don't want to engage in conversation. I think they're just trying to absorb what's going on out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. They just paid you
to.
to take for that solitude.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Scott Perry said, "Do people guide that can't get a real job?" Well, I can answer that for you, Scott. Well, Dieter has a job. He's a superstar. He films NASCAR and NCAA. Okay. Wes isn't a guy. Peter is an airline freaking pilot. Anthony Johnson, you're the only guy that I know that's actually you're like a full-time guide. So I guess what did you do before you decided to become a guide, Anthony? What did you do for work?
Well, I worked for the state, and it got to be, I'd work 5 days a week for the state and then guide on the weekends, and, the pay wasn't there. And I was like, well, if I'm going to work 7 days a week, I'm gonna get paid for it. So I quit working for the state and went to fishing full time.
Okay.
But like I was going to tell you a story. What we were talking, y'all were talking earlier that I had a guy get on the boat one day, and he said, "What we gonna do, boss man?" I said, "Well, we're gonna do a little cut bait." And he said, "Man, I didn't come up here to do that shit. I want to pull planer boards." And I said, "Bro, I ain't catching no fish on planer boards." "Oh man, that's what I want to do. I don't want to damn cut bait. I'm done. I don't want to do that shit." I said, "Okay, it's your trip. I'll do whatever you want to do, boss man." He started at 6:30 in the morning. By about 9 o'clock, we pulled, and you can pull a long ways in 3 hours.
Yeah, you can
Two
pull
and
the
a half.
paint. You can pull the paint off them motherfuckers, can't you?
Yeah. And I said, "You done with this bullshit here? If you want to go catch some fish?" And he's like, "Man, I told you I didn't want to do that." I said, "Well, I tell you what, you give me 30 minutes. Let me find some fish, get set up. After I throw the last rod in the water, 30 minutes. If I don't catch them, I'll pull them planer boards till the vinyl falls off of them." Okay, I don't want to do this bullshit. Meanwhile, I didn't come up here to catfish. I said, that's part of it, cut baiting. We're going to probably catch some catfish. But, you know, it is what it is.
Mhm.
Where was
I
y'all
pulled up
at?
and I found some fish, and I said, all right. I start putting them out. I put 6 rods out. Before I got all my rods out, the first rod takes off. I said, there you go. I said, probably a catfish. I said, well, whatever it is, it's more than we've caught all damn morning. Needless to say, it's a striper. And then before he gets it in, another rod goes off. Now, I ain't got all 6 rods out yet. Finally get all of them out, and we sit there, in that 30 minutes, we probably caught 7 or 8 fish. And I said, you'd have listened to me this morning, we could have been doing this shit all morning. I said, brother, whether you ever come back with me or not, I hope you do. But let me tell you something. Take this for advice. He said, what's that? I said, don't never guide the guide.
I like that. Don't ever guide the guide. So, did he ever come back with you?
Oh yeah.
His name.
And the first thing he
I thought
does when he
you was
gets on the
gonna be
boat,
like,
we're
and it
going
ended up-
cut baiting.
His name ended up being Daryl Barnes.
That's right.
I thought you were gonna like come
No,
around.
it wasn't Daryl. But I could tell you a story with him one day.
We back again.
We pulled up there to the dam one day, and the trip was about over. Daryl was with another customer of mine. And he said, oh, this guy's just trying to get his time in. This bullshit here. They ain't going, what the hell is this? I throw the anchor out way up there at the dam, and the water's on. I get set up, and I throw the bait out, and I throw the second one out, throw the third one out, throw the fourth one out, and then that's about all I run in that current. We wasn't sitting there 5 minutes after I got them all out. Rod slams and just smoking it. I said, there you go. And he looked at me like, are you shitting me? No, actually, he's on there, get it. Well, to this day, he said, man, I never would have thought in a million years we was going to catch fish the way we did. And, another little story I could tell you guys about, they had that Billy Dick tournament up there. Scott Perry was up there, him and Patrick. And I hollered at him one day. I had a guide trip, so I couldn't fish the tournament. I said, Perry, you got your pen and piece of paper with you? He said, what are you talking about? I said, I'm going to give you some lessons this morning. I sat over there and blistered them. They never caught a fish. So now it's
Come on, Scott.
the concrete cowboys. That's all we get talked about.
Damn.
Did anybody inspire you to start, Anthony? Did anybody
What
inspire
you mean,
you to
bud?
start? Did anybody inspire you to start guiding?
Doug Cole.
No, I got it there on Lake Norman actually a long time ago. I mean, I would work another job. Well, I had another job before the state, but I worked 4 days a week, and on Fridays and Saturdays, I would guide, out here on Lake Norman. But back then, they had striper tournaments every Sunday.
Striper swipers, huh?
And I'd pull boards in the morning. That's back when we had stripers in the lake, a lot of stripers.
Mm-hmm.
And I would pull boards the first thing in the morning, and then I'd mark fish on the bottom. I'd pull up on the bank. I'd throw them out on the bottom alive. and I catch fish, and people come by me pulling boards. What the hell are they doing? Catfishing? And I was striper fishing, but I catch some fish on the bottom with live gizzards.
Mhm.
And for a long time, nobody knows what I was doing.
Well,
They finally figured it out.
well, now that Norman is a hybrid fishery, have you thought about targeting hybrids on Norman?
I have, but I mean, like this September, I sold my boat, and I got 2 other boats, but I wasn't set up to guide now. I got a bass boat, and then I got a big 23-foot Sea Pro. So to me, it just ain't, that boat's not ideal to guide out of. I mean, I guess I could do it if I had to, but I got a new boat now, and everybody's gonna get to see it Monday. It's gonna be all done and pretty, and
Monday.
it's gonna be one of the best ones I've ever built.
Awesome. You should
we got
come
a question.
fish that hybrid tournament this weekend with us.
Well, I would, but I'm going to Lake Murray fishing the bass tournament.
Oh, okay.
Hey, we got a question.
Yes, sir.
Somebody wants to know, when you're receiving a tip, is there a percentage y'all were expecting? And my question is, what's the biggest tip you've ever got from a client?
Who you asking that to first?
We'll start with Pete and go around.
Okay.
I don't ever expect a tip. Put it that way. I don't expect it. But I'm gonna say 95% of the time I do get a tip. The biggest one I've ever gotten was $150, I think.
Okay. Dieter?
Oh, let me also backtrack. Talking about meeting cool people as well, Dieter said earlier. I have one guy that I fish with quite frequently that is actually a beekeeper, and he also tips me with fresh honey and cash. So,
Dieter,
yeah.
how about you?
What's that?
I was asking Dieter. How about him?
The thing with tips is most guys will tell you need to set your prices so that you can make a living doing it, and then anything else is a bonus. And talking to other guys, at least in the catfish niche, I think it's different for different types of fishing. I think if you're an offshore boat, it's kind of expected. I think that is kind of something with that world. Catfish world, I think it's probably on the lower end of the totem pole as far as people tipping. I think striper is probably pretty good, I would guess, for those guys out there. But with all that said, my clients have been pretty dang good about it. It is, I would say, 95% of the time. There is some type of tip, usually pretty good. I do have one that, and he kind of skews everything because he is, I don't know. The first time he booked a trip, he was expecting it. I don't know. He never asked what the price was. And he gave me a huge tip, very large. And he hadn't stuck to that the entire time, but it's still been pretty good. I think the first one he gave me like $500 or something above the price, because he was used to doing saltwater stuff, the world Pete lives in, to where you can't even do a near shore trip in most places for a day for under $800. And he fished a lot in Florida, and asked me the price, and he said, I was expecting more, and he hands me this wad of money. And I never sit there and count money in front of people. Maybe I should, maybe that's bad. I just shove it in my pocket and say, thank you, appreciate it. And I got back, and I actually shot him a text because it was all $100 bills. And I said, hey, dude, you sure this money's right? And he goes, yeah, why? Was it not enough? I said, no, it was significantly higher. I just want to make sure you didn't hand me the pocket that was supposed to be 20s and it was hundreds. He goes, oh, no. He said, you're good. He said, I appreciate it. So they're not like that all the time, though. So,
yeah.
I will say this, Pete. Now, what is it like in the saltwater world on those big boats that are getting $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 to run out to really deep water? What do those guys get tipped on those things? How does that work?
So I think they say customary is like 20%.
But that's for the mates.
For the mates, that's correct. Yeah, captain
gets
not picked
not the captains.
I'd say the couple of saltwater trips I've ran, I've gotten 2.5 of the price. So yeah, I mean, it's not been bad at all. But again, I don't require tips at all. One thing I make clear is I don't clear. I can't even talk right now. I don't clean fish at the dock at all unless it's requested. Then it's gonna cost a little more. Saves me time, agony, all that, you know. But if they want the fish clean, it can be clean.
How about you, Anthony?
Well, I got one guy. I mean, this has been 7, 8 years ago. Guy texted me and wanted to go fishing. Never been striper fishing before, and I said, "Well, I'll take you," you know, and on yada 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 yada. Well, I got done with the trip, and I called them. They come into town. I said, "Just gonna fill them out," you know. Never been with me before. There again, I know I was gonna catch them because the floodgates was on. I mean, I know it's easy, you know. It's really stupid how easy it is, and so I took them that night. And they caught some fish, and they enjoyed it, and yada yada yada. And they fished for 3 days with me, and they paid me. They paid me on Sunday. Told me to come to the motel, and I went to the motel. He said, "The first night you took us out," I said, "Yeah." I said, "Man, we good on that. Y'all took me to dinner." He said, "No, we're gonna pay you for that." So they paid me for that day, and I was like, "Y'all ain't got to, you know. I told you took me out to eat. We're good." He said, "No, we're not going to do that." Well, he said, "I need to pay you your balance." And he did. He said, "Now we're talking about, here's your tip." I said, "Wait a minute." I said, "What you paid me is for that first day is, man, that's a really nice tip, you know."
Mm-hmm.
At the time I would think I was $400 a day, you know, to fish. And so he said, "No, he paid me for that." He said, "No, that ain't your tip. $1,500 what he give me for a
Tell
tip."
Scott he can come on here if he wants to talk junk. He can come on.
Hey, Anthony, I don't know if you know this story. And if you do, if I'm missing something, a couple of years ago, and I can't pronounce the guy's name, he's from China. He hired Todd Asher. And his thing was he wanted to catch a 50-pound striper on a artificial lure.
Yeah.
It was dead wintertime. Todd said as far back as he can remember, it's probably one of the coldest winters they ever had in Tennessee. He said that second morning it was like 6 degrees. And he said this guy casted nonstop. From the time the boat hit the water where they stopped to fish, he was just casting. And I think on the fourth or fifth day, he caught one 46 or 47 pounds.
Yeah.
And this guy, Todd said that's probably the most famous person, if you want to go famous, he ever had on his boat. And he owned the largest scrapyard in China. And what this guy used to do, Todd sent me a video. He would take a soda bottle, plastic bottles, fill it up with water, and screw the cap on it, but not tighten it up. Just put it on there loose. And he would cast artificial lures and hit the side of the cap from 20 foot and spin it off. And that's how he practiced precision casting. And Todd said he could do it like 7 out of 10 times every time.
Really?
Is there anybody that you guys get, you guides, Anthony, Dieter, Peter, anybody that y'all get? Have you ever gotten a client and you're like, okay, I'm about to break out all the bells and whistles. I'm about to break out. I'm going to do all I can. I want to catch fish for this motherfucker. This guy is, whether it be like, it could be like a 75-year-old veteran that comes down. He can barely walk. He's got a bad back. He's been working his whole life in a mill, and he loves to fish. He's been having to support his whole bum ass family his whole life, and he ain't been able to do what he loves. And he's finally got an opportunity to go out there. And do you ever see a guy like that where you're just like, you know what? I'm about to show this dude this. I'm about to break out every bit of my knowledge, all my secret spots. I'm about to really try to my best to put this guy on the best fish of his life.
So I kind of have that attitude every trip. Not trying to make I'm not trying to sound myself up or anything here, but I kind of have that attitude every trip. I want to catch a lot of fish on every trip, plain and simple, And And I do work hard on most of my guide trips overall. But there's one in particular that's actually more of, it's not really a guide trip per se. It's a friend that fishes with me quite, I don't want to say frequently, maybe twice a year, 3 times a year at best when I have a free day. Him and his son come on board, and you might have seen pictures from a week and a half ago, I think. They were on the boat with me there. But he is actually a special ops guy from Fort Bragg.
You did very well on that trip, by the way.
Yeah, not too bad, but he's a Fort Bragg special ops guy, and he's been through a lot of Iraq and everything, and he spends a lot of time on the road, and every so often he comes back, and we chat a little bit, and I'm like, hey, free day, let's go, let's do this, So on that day in particular, I literally called him the night before and said, hey, bring you and Mini-Me, let's go fishing, and he brought his father-in-law as well, and we went and we caught a lot of fish. But every time he's on the boat, I want to break out all the stunts and make all the moves, burn all the gas, just to dang make sure that we catch some dang good fish.
Yeah.
I got another question for y'all, and this is a good one. I talked to a guy a couple of years ago, and I'm not going to say his name, but he told me one of the hardest things as far as guiding, and he said, I'll never do it no more, is he said, you have to watch when you're guiding really where you take people. He said, well, if I'm taking a man fishing and I know he's got a boat and an endless amount of fucking money, he said, no, I'm not going to take him to no spots and catch no fish. He said, I'll try to catch fish, but I'm not going to take him to some of my best spots. Because he said, anytime you take a man fishing, if a man's got his own boat and an endless amount of money and they don't have a fucking job, he said, you better not put him on your spots or you won't be able to fish him no more.
Damn, Wes, I took you fishing in my spots, son of a bitch.
I think
that backfired on him, didn't it?
He's talking about himself, ain't he?
I don't have an endless amount of money, brother. I'm not an airplane pilot. Anthony, so what my question is, have y'all ever took anybody that you knowed had money or you thought might come back and try to fish your spots and you're like, no, I'm not going to take them to my best spots?
No,
go ahead.
I take them. When they get on my boat and I get that question, man, as long as you pay me for my knowledge, ain't a damn thing I can do about it. It's a public lake. You got just as much right to, if I take you to a spot and we catch some good fish and the next day I show up with my different clients and you there, you won't beat me there the next day. I promise you. You won't beat me there the next day. That's why I got a 300 on this new boat. Ain't nobody going to outrun me up there.
I've had someone tell me that. Because I was going to Tennessee and I was talking to a friend of mine and he said, this is exactly what he said. He said, so you're going here? And I said, yeah, that's where I'm going. And he said, well, I'll tell you what, if you'll go to this one spot, he said, if you'll get there, he said, now you'll have to get there. You said, you'll have to get there. It'll have to be 4:30 in the morning. But if you'll go there, that's a good spot. You'll beat Anthony Johnson there. He said Anthony Johnson likes to fish here. But if you get there, you better get there early. I'm talking 4:30 in the morning early. Yeah. I said, okay.
In my local lakes, there's really, striper. If I'm striper fishing, these fish move day to day. So I don't really have a spot that's a must go to, must fish, secret spot by no means. There's times where a spot is hot for a week or two, and then from there, it fizzles out and these fish move on somewhere else, But crappie fishing, brush piles, that's something that kind of sort of keep an eye on. If someone lives in the lake, I won't take them to my my best piles. I'll kind of sort of bounce around a few spots here and there. Mm-hmm. But if it's someone from out of town that wants to crab fish, oh yeah, I'll go out there, we'll whack them on some of the best piles I have.
Yeah, everyone says, fish move, there's no spots, blah, 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 blah. Well, those aren't crappie fishermen because there most definitely is spots when it comes to crappie fishing, especially people that put brush out. And some of the best crappie years I've had on Lake Norman have been where I've actually taken brush out. And I definitely wouldn't want a bunch of people knowing where my brush piles were. So
that's right. Yep.
Hey, speaking of getting to places on time, last year I called Anthony. And I said, where you at? And he said, I'm up here fishing at the dam. I said, I'm fixing to head that way. We're about to put the boat in the water. I said, your boy Billy's right here behind me. Anthony said, make out like you're having boat trouble. I said, what? He said, don't let that motherfucker come up here. He said, he's got a party. I said, yeah, he's got some people with him. He said, if you really want to piss him off, hold up there at the ramp. So I sat there for a few minutes. I was listening to the radio and I was looking at my phone. Then he pulled on up there a little bit, flashed his lights, So then I got out and I eased on around the truck one way, and then I walked back around the truck the other way, and then I eased on it. So I was by myself. So I eased on. Then he got out of the truck and he was watching. I was like, I hope this motherfucker says something to me. So I walked back around. I got back up in the truck, let the boat in. Then I finally walked down there to the dock, made sure I'd let it out a little bit. And then I said, oh, shit, I'm just going to tie a rope to it. So I tied a rope to it, launched the boat, pulled back up. So anyway, Billy finally makes it in the water. So Doug Cole's already up at the dam. Anthony's up there fishing. And Billy comes right in the middle of the damn channel. And Anthony called me. He said, do me a favor. And I said, what? He said, you got some rap music on there, don't you? He said, turn something on. He said, I don't give a fuck what it is, as long as it's rap, and turn that shit wide open. So I started bumping that rock star by what's his name?
Nickelback.
No, I've been fucking hosing, feeling like a rock star.
Shit.
And dude,
Post Malone.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. So I'm right on the wall, right, and this just echoing. Dude, and it was like 2 minutes, and Doug Cole's over there with his shirt off, and Doug's over there jamming. And sure enough, I looked, and Anthony called me. He said, watch him. I said, what? He said, he's fixing to leave. Sure enough, you can see him reeling rods up. He cranked his boat up, went the fuck down the river. Anthony called me. He said, I owe you one. I appreciate it. That's a true story.
Well,
Yep, he hates me with a passion.
Hey, Anthony, tell him.
Every chance I get, if I can, after last year, every chance I get, if I can get on his ass, I'm going to.
You know,
Let me
I
tell
feel
y'all,
like
Anthony,
every guide out there,
Billy
even
Davis.
Dieter can answer this. Every
Do what
guy
now?
out there has got haters. All of us.
all
no
the
doubt
guys
about
have
it.
haters.
Let me
We
tell
all
y'all
have
what
real
happened.
haters.
Listen, Billy Davis launches his boat. He's talked shit about Anthony for years. He couldn't stand Anthony Johnson. Anthony didn't care for him a whole lot. Well, he launches his boat, and he forgot to turn his trolling motor on, the self-deployed trolling motor. So his boat takes off down the river. Well, guess who helped him? Anthony. Anthony takes him down there and gets his boat, gets it back up to the ramp, and this motherfucker didn't even say thank you.
No,
There you go.
Bitter
Yep.
rivals, frenemies.
What were you saying, Pete? I heard my name.
Now, I said, even you could probably attest to this. Every guide out there has got a list of haters.
Yeah.
They're out there.
Oh,
Because we're a guide, we
Dieter's
have
got
people
the
that
haters.
automatically hate us.
Yeah, I don't know how many hate me in the guiding world. I think I get along with everybody pretty good. YouTube world's a different story, but yeah, they're that's funny because I hear Anthony talking about Billy. I get along with Billy fine. But
You did a story with him last year.
yep, yeah, I'm actually going to shoot some more stuff with him. But
Damn.
I can understand where he has a personality that can be abrasive. And it's funny.
He got a
earlier-
personality like a shoe. He ain't got a soul.
Earlier, when you started into your story about somebody being in a centerfold, the first thing that popped into my head was like, oh hell, he's talking about Ty Mathis, and they called you by accident because they looked up the wrong number. Ty's another one that can be very polarizing up there in Tennessee. And is there something with the striper guides that makes it worse?
I don't know. I've thought for a long time, if we call Discovery Channel, you know how they had the wicked tuna shit? They always fighting the shit. I said, they all need to come to East Tennessee. That damn will show them a sucking trick.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah, that would be excellent. I love that.
Nice.
But going back to Billy, man, I mean, one day, I just don't understand the dude, because one day he'll call you and he's the nicest guy and yada, yada, yada. The next day you talk to him, he wouldn't give a shit if you was breathing. But I was up there one morning, this has been several years back, tied up to the wing walk, Melton Hill, cut bait, catching the immortal shit out of him. We started at, I don't know, it was one of them mornings like 4:30. I started, told the guys we better get there early. We got there early. It was one of them. I told my guys, I said, I get y'all a motel room. Oh man, we're just gonna go up there and fish off the bank, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, so where we going? They got on the boat. They were from Indiana. where we going? I said, we're going to go up here to the dam. He said, oh, man, there ain't shit up there. We've been up there all morning. I said, well, or all night. I said, well, that's where we're going. I pulled up there, got my boat tied off, cut bait up, throwed them out. Hell, we wasn't there 5 minutes. Boom, there's one. You know, we catch them. It gets about time for people to start showing up. Here comes Billy. Now, we've caught 20-some fish before Billy gets there. And I told him, I said, this guy here, he got 3 or 4 or 5 people on his damn boat. I was like, they ain't caught shit. He's fishing with the jacks, live jacks. They ain't caught shit. We over there catching them. I say, man, y'all guys, we've had enough. We had a good morning. He said, oh, hell, man, we ain't never caught no fish like this. We've had a damn good time. I said, well, y'all got any injections? I'll tell old boy to come over here and we'll go down. Hell, I can go find some more fish. We'll just go down the river and I'll mark some more fish. We'll catch them. That's cool. And I hollered at Billy. I said, hey, man, Billy, come on. I said, I'll move, give you the spot. Nothing. Wouldn't say a word. I said, hey, bud, Billy, come on. I'll move, give you the spot. He sat there a minute. I said, man, come on, Billy. He said, oh, we good. I said, all right. I turned around and looked at my guys. I said, what y'all want to do? He said, fuck them, put them back out. So we put them back out. And at 9 o'clock, we run out of bait. And we caught 39 stripers by 9 o'clock. I said, boys, we done. We're going to put it on the trailer. And they never caught a fish while we sit there. And I caught 39 right sitting in one spot. Stupid. I mean, how could, you got clients on the boat and they sitting there watching the show and you going to tell them we good?
Yeah, you got a fellow guide trying to do you a favor. Yeah, set your pride to the side. Go over there, put them on some fish. If you're not
exactly. I don't give a damn. Hey, man, if I ain't on shit and you over there making me look bad, hell yeah, I'm saying it. Can you not leave fast enough?
Yeah.
Shit, get on. Get the hell on down the road.
Tell you a story about Billy Davis. This is how, and I didn't know really nothing about him.
This is turning into the Billy Davis.
I know. Yeah, let's
I don't know Billy,
let's
but
not bash people. We're not here to bash people.
Well, I'm not bashing. I'm just telling you a true story. It was like my second or third trip to Tennessee, and I didn't know Anthony Johnson. But I I'd go live. I was going live up there, and I'd say, hey, we live, baby, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Well,
is this the White Sox story?
No. So Drew Rankin called.
This a what?
Are you sure this isn't the White Sox story? Wes, you're about to tell the White Sox story, aren't you?
It's got nothing to do with White Sox. Just listen, Grasshopper.
All right.
So Drew Rankin calls me. Never heard him. He got my number for Shane Houghton. He said, I just want to call to you to be careful, buddy. He said, I know you don't fish for a lot, but some guys drowned on at Lake Loudon Dam yesterday. I said, okay. So anyway, I get a call later. I was going live, and I'm not going to say the guy's name that Billy had on his boat because I don't know if he'd want me to say his name on here. But I was saying we live, baby. And Anthony Johnson, Billy Davis at the time was on the chain game, made a comment about it. And Shane Howington said, let me tell you something. He said, that's my buddy up there. He bought a fishing license. He pulled his boat up there. He's catching fish, and he can do all the live videos he wants to. He said, fuck you. So him and Shane got into it. And then it fell on to some more friends that I had, even though I'm not on the chain gang. They was talking shit to Billy. So Billy was back and forth, and he had a client on the boat. And this client told me later, he had one. He said, we pulled that fucking skipjack around. He was dead, done twisting the line up because this motherfucker stayed on his phone for 4 hours. Well, at the end of the day, and he said, listen, he said, Wes Rose can do what the fuck. And he said, who the fuck's Wes Rose? He said, I don't even know Wes Rose. I said, who the fuck are you talking about? He said, I'm talking about Anthony Johnson. So that's how the Billy Dick tournament became. That's why they started that tournament, because Billy was being an ass and he was talking about me. He was talking about Anthony Johnson, but everybody thought he was talking about me. So that's how the Billy Dick tournament became to be. Now, the Sox story. Long story short, I'm in North Carolina, helping Drew Rankin, from the hurricane, helping hurricane victims. Well, he had put a comment on Facebook. Drew posted, we were up there doing blah, blah, blah. And he said, well, he said, at least he's not up at Chilhowie blowing the fishery up, blah, blah, blah. So I snapped on him, and Drew Rankin filmed it. I went outside in the parking lot there at the fire department. I had white socks on. And I called that son of a bitch every name I could think of.
Peter, why can't catfish be this dramatic? Why
And,
I was getting ready to just say, I was getting ready to ask Pete, we need to make maybe Pete the bad guy on Lake Norman and get some stories like this, because we're
I
just
already
sitting
in
there
the
going,
bad
he's
guy.
working on
Wow,
he's working on it. That's a
If
good
there
idea.
is if there is a villain on Lake Norman, that is me. Okay.
Yeah,
I swear to
well,
God.
I don't know. There may be some people envious of you, but I don't know anybody that's. I mean, I
If
don't
you
know
notice,
that we got
I
that
have
kind of
my list
hybrid
of haters.
going
I
on.
promise you.
they're kind of modeling themselves after the striped bass challenge, the SBC, the hybrid striped bass challenge on Lake Norman. Well, Trevor he needs some help. Last year we had 41 boats. We're going to have way more than that this year. He's only got a permit for 50 boats, I think. That boy needs to. They're growing. He needs to realize that, hey, this is bigger than just me. I need some help. They need to go ahead and
After this year, I'm willing to help him, and we'll talk. Me and him will talk about it here later
they need
on.
to, because I mean,
this
this
might
thing's
be my last year as far as being absolutely top tier competitive with this. And after
Oh
that,
my
I'm gonna do
God!
whatever.
Stop it. Okay, so they're growing. They need to let it. They need to go ahead and let it explode, because it's wanting to explode. And just go ahead and let it explode. And but if you'll notice, last year I filmed the HSBC last year on Norman. And if you'll notice, while I'm filming, I kind of panned around to the crowd when they were announcing when they announced the first place winner, Peter Malik. I panned around to the crowd and I said, "You guys had one job, beat Peter Malik. You couldn't even do that." And everybody just kind of laughed. But I mean, I was serious. I mean, you've won it 2 years in a row. You're
I did not
coming
win
in there
2
and you're
years in a row.
bullying these guys, and I'm tired of it. That's why I'm getting it this year.
Come on,
And,
baby.
yeah, you're not
Come
going
on.
to win it this year. It may not be
So-
me that wins it, but I'm coming after Peter Malik this year. I'm
just to
kicking
clarify here,
kicking some Peter
Just to
ass.
clarify.
Scott Perry,
Let me
Scott Perry
clarify real
wants to
quick.
know.
The very first year I won it, I missed it the second year because of work, training, new job. The third year, I finished second, and then I won it this most recent year.
Scott
Okay,
Perry
I was
wants
under.
to
I
know
thought
why-
that you had won it 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So okay, all right. Well, yeah, you're not as good as I thought you were. My bad.
I suck. I really do. I suck.
Scott wants to
Hey,
know how many people are really going to drive that far for 3 pounders.
Well, tell Scott Perry
Yes.
he may want to come fish it, because that's about all he caught in Hartwell in that.
I know
Whoa.
exactly.
Thank
I mean,
you.
Scott's down
Thank
there.
you.
He's been living
Damn.
in La La Land down there in
Oh,
South
hey.
Carolina for years.
Got him.
Somebody.
Just so you know, I have that
Got
bottle.
him.
I have that bottle of Walrus Mod on my mantle, just because I took it from Scott from his home lake.
That's right.
Damn.
Yeah, the Woodford. There you go.
Woodford Reserve. Yeah, he couldn't even get you a bottle of Blanton's. He had to go bottom shelf on you.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. That was good shit. Yeah.
All right. What's the best guide trip you've ever did?
Oh Lord.
All right, so
What's your
What's the what?
let me say my most rewarding
He
guide
said the
trip.
best guide trip, Anthony.
God, that's tough. That's a tough one.
I'll tell you my most rewarding guide trip. Okay, it's gonna be a long story here, kind of, sort of. Had one of my regulars. I say regulars. He booked me twice. The first time we had a pretty decent trip, and the second time, the day before I called him, I'm like, "Hey, listen," it was him and his buddy. I called him and said, "Hey, it's supposed to be blowing 15 to 20. It's gonna fucking suck. All right, let's try another day." He's like, "No, I want to go. So, all right, or hey, you want to go? We'll give it a try." He's on Baden Lake, by the way. So we went. We fished all day, or should I say, 3/4 a day. We fished hard. Had a 1 bite and 1 bite only, and it was an 11.5 pound fish. Pretty good for baiting. Took a few pictures, released the fish, and then so from there, business as usual. The very next year, his buddy booked me, okay, for a half day with one of his buddies. And so, we got on the boat and we got out to their first, the first spot there, started fishing a little bit. And he told me, "Hey, Andrew, you may not know this, but about a month after the trip, he passed away." Oh, really? So I had no idea about it. But apparently he was so proud of that fish that he caught that he passed the photo around to all the family and everything. And they used that photo of that 11.5 pound fish in his eulogy for the funeral.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's
So,
awesome.
yeah. So that was my most.
That's what
I'd
it's
say, my
about right
best
there,
guide
dude.
trip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, your turn.
Who, me?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
he got dished by everyone. So all of a sudden it's
I
us.
know. It's stories like that, there's countless little stories like that. But I can remember the best numbers day. I can remember the Father's Day trip. The people had never been fishing and they caught all these fish that was just stupid numbers. But, there's a lot of stuff. I had this old dude that was a Vietnam vet, could barely get around, that came out with me, and we had a good day. He caught the biggest fish he ever caught. I heard so much from his family, his kids, everything else about that. There's a lot of little stuff like that. The best days have never been in the whole scope of things, the ones that you really look at and you go, dang, that was cool. It isn't about the biggest fish or the biggest fish we've caught or anything else. It's usually some little subtle story that is attached to it that makes it really cool. And honestly, that's what makes guiding, for me at least, rewarding. And the reason I still want to go do it. And, you mentioned earlier about having, what you don't like about it. The only time people ask that, the only time that it's a struggle to go do it is when you're sick. If you got a cold, whatever, and you're just like, these people are from out of town, we got to make this happen, and you're out there and it sucks, you feel like crap, because for a lot of these people, this is, I'm sure it's the same for all three of us, this may be the highlight of the year for them. This may be their big thing of the year, and we take for granted we get to fish pretty much anytime we want to. And for a lot of these people, this is something they plan for, they save for when they go do. And dang, you make a lot of cool little memories. And it's hard to pick one that like really, really stands out. Yours was good, Peter, though. Something like that, to have a picture from a fishing trip and a eulogy like that says something.
You kind of answered my question, Dieter, already, but my question was, do you still enjoy it?
Oh, absolutely. I enjoy it. Now, the past 2 or 3 weeks when the fish have been mudded up and it's been hideous, I'm frustrated. I want to beat my head into the wall. I want to go somewhere else and find cooperative fish. It's not fun. I don't always have to catch a lot of fish. I don't always have to catch big fish or big numbers, but my God, at least make it somewhat like to where you can actually make something happen. Here recently,
do y'all have any tips for people that might want to start guiding? I know, because like me, before you guys started guiding, like people came up to you all the time at work or whatever, and they were like, "Hey, you should be a guide." I get that all the time, but for people that that are thinking about starting a guide, but y'all have any tips for people that might want to?
I've got a
get
big
into
one.
it, and
I've got a big one.
I got a big one too, but Dieter, go first.
Their expectations, you kind of have big expectations at first, and are you going to get let down?
My tip for anybody that's going to get into it, I think, at least me, we have these idealistic fantasies about what guiding is, and this, you watch Flip Palette and all when you're a kid, and you have this vision of what you think is there. Here's what you got to do. You got to be able to go out there and make somebody's day without catching a fish. And if you can do that, if you can make that a great experience, then if you catch fish, it's even better. If you catch the biggest fish they ever caught, it's a bonus. If you go out and start a trip and you're a jerk, you're a douchebag to be around, you're bitching, moaning, and complaining, you show up late and want to go home early, well, really, no matter what happens when you're on the water, in the back of their mind, they're going to be like, I'm glad I caught that big fish, but that dude's a jerk. I'm going to go fish for Anthony Johnson next time, and at least he's nice to me. So make the person's experience great and then worry about the fishing.
Yeah. I have 3 tips. Number 1, on every trip, you make sure you have a plan A, B, C, and D. In case plan A and B don't work, you got to go to C and D. Keep those rod bent, no matter what, whether it takes a striper, catfish, or perch on Lake Norman especially. Number 2 is all guides, and Dieter does not have this problem because he's basically the only person on Wiley for the most part. All guides should work together. Y'all talk amongst yourselves that day. The fish aren't biting here. The fish are biting here. Come on, so you kind of work and communicate. You work together. Number 3, don't ever lie at all. Period. The end. Because, someone that is familiar with the lake, they'll know a lie right away, whether it's from a fellow guide or someone else. They know, there's no question about it. So don't ever lie to someone else.
Was that number 3?
Number 3, yes.
Okay. Well, Peter, question: Do you ever collaborate with any other guides on
absolutely.
Lake Norman?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Via text message, call. A lot of collaboration is like the night prior. Hey, you fishing today? All right. Well, I'm gonna start here. You'll be here. If it's on fire, I'll let you know. That kind of thing.
Okay, I like that. What about you, Dieter?
Huffy, for example, I collaborate with him all the time.
Okay, yeah, I like Lee Huffman.
Yep.
Lee Huffman, you owe me $70 for some SRCG sweatshirts, by the way, from like 2 years ago. But Dieter Melhorn, do you collab with any Lake Wiley guides?
There's actually more guides on Wiley than you think, Peter.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I don't think people don't really think about Lake Wiley having a lot of guides.
Yeah, he guides here. Justin Whiteside comes up from down in South Carolina and guides a bunch. Roger Taylor, who's one of my mentors and former tournament partner, he guides here full time now. And Chris Nichols, he's another one that guides here. He also guides up on Norman and stuff. So yeah, we'll bounce stuff around to each other. It's not as much as it used to be. But when it kind of sucks, probably Lee and I probably talk more than I think Lee probably does more trips than about anybody out there besides me now. And, we bounce stuff around with what's going on. And I don't have a problem with it. I luckily, thank you, Lord Jesus, we don't have a big competitive pissing match going on with what's going on in the lake. Stuff changes, like Peter was saying earlier. Stuff changes so much that we can go to a place and fish whatever hump, and there's crappie on it, there's catfish, whatever. Man, 3 days from now, they're going to be gone. So it's not like you're giving up or burning a spot or anything. Stuff moves around. And, most guys are smart enough that if you give them some basic stuff with, hey, fish, the crappie are pinned on the bottom, they're biting, that's going to tell them something versus the fish on the bottom ain't feeding everything, 20 to 24 is hitting. They can take that and pretty much drag that to any part of the lake that they want to fish and catch fish. So I like working with guides and, anybody that's new to the business.
I like that catfish is growing so much. I like that catfish are becoming
popular. Really? Is it really?
It really is, because that's why guys like Scott Perry are sending me friend requests on Facebook, is because they're envious. They're wanting to see, well, hey, what's this catfish guy? What's he doing, causing all this commotion? What's this guy doing? Yeah, he's wanting to know. Yeah, these guys, the catfish are becoming popular, and people are realizing that yes, catfish may be dam to dam. They may be everywhere, and you may be able to easily catch them with chicken livers or whatever. But those trophy-sized catfish are a little bit harder to catch. And I think these guys are starting to understand that, and they're starting to have a little more respect for these guys that are catching these bigger fish, even if they're not catching them on a consistent basis.
But
if they've caught bigger fish, they have more
I think
respect
that's what made striper fishing, especially over where Anthony's at in Tennessee, so big and popular, is that you had a chance to catch a ocean-sized fish in fresh water. And
most definitely,
and some big and stripers, they fight harder than catfish.
Exactly. Look at Anthony mentioned Wicked Tuna earlier. Look at that show.
Did you hear that, JR? JR, did you hear that?
No, I heard it. I
ahead.
Picked up on it right away.
You feel free to repeat it.
He agreed on it. Yeah.
Feel free to repeat it. Go ahead.
Repeat that one more time, Dieter. Say it loud so JR can hear you in the back.
Go ahead.
What I was saying is that a striper, pound for pound, I believe fights harder than a catfish will.
Well, we're talking apples and oranges. We're talking apples and oranges.
We are. Here. The other thing we're bringing in here that generally you fish, the thing is you generally fish on lighter tackle for stripers than you do for catfish, so you can whip their ass a little bit quicker. But here's the thing. Stripers are also a very fragile fish.
Very fragile
compared to a catfish.
Striper tubes, dissolved oxygen.
Yeah, they are different, but there's a lot of excitement with catching striper. I love the fish form. I wish we had bigger ones, but
And size means a lot, size does matter, like Anthony mentioned wicked tuna earlier. There's a lot of drama. Everyone in the catfish industry, they hate drama. There's a bunch of straight and narrow business owners in the catfish industry. They're like, they don't want any drama. They don't even want you to cuss. And I don't like that. That's why I'm kind of more drawn toward the striper industry, is because those guys, they're like the bikers of the fishing industry. And I like that. My point is, look at wicked tuna. Look at wicked tuna. Those guys are a bunch of freaking. They're riffraff. Those guys are a bunch of damn. Nobody. Those guys are horrible. Those guys. There's some horrible.
There's
people
some trust fund babies in that
but
world.
People love them. They love them. Why do they love them? Because they're catching 800-pound goddamn fish. That's why they love them. And the catfish industry is like that. We have the benefit of having the bigger fish. We have, yes, there are some big stripers in Tennessee, but in North America, the biggest fish that 90% of anglers target is the Arkansas blue catfish. That's what we have going for us.
Because they're easier to catch. They're easy.
Exactly. And drama is a good thing.
Don't listen to him.
I am drunk.
But listen, JR, you was talking about the drama. Dude, about 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, there was more fucking drama in the catfish world than there ever was in the striper world.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking, man, let me finish now.
Go ahead.
I'm talking about from just like when the guy caught that big fish and he got all that flack about putting it in the tank at Bass Pro Shops, and you had these motherfuckers talking about the rod, you cut the butt. Hell, you cut one rod in half live on a damn bandsaw. And I mean, y'all went crazy as hell about 2.5 years ago in the catfish world. Don't say they ain't no drama in the catfish world.
Yeah,
You can thank my PR manager for stifling all of my drama on my end. So there you go.
Dieter does very good at not getting caught up in all of it. Well, guys, it's been over an hour and 16 minutes.
So,
it's been a good show.
It is the eve of the big hybrid tournament. So
It is.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready, Peter?
Are you ready?
Are you ready to get that ass kicked, boy?
If I have a day on Saturday like I had today, you jokers are in trouble.
What did you have today? I know where you went. I had a spy on the lake. I know
You had a
exactly
spy,
where you went.
but he only saw me scanning. He didn't see me fishing.
Oh, he only saw you scanning. Okay.
Correct.
All I know is you went north. You made a beeline.
I went everywhere.
Just better be glad I'm not going to be there.
I went everywhere.
Go ahead, show up, big boy. We'll whip that ass too. Go ahead. Come on down there. Come on down there. You too, Dieter.
I fished that thing before in a bass boat. The guy said, "You not got a bait tank?" Hell, I don't need a bait tank to catch these fish.
No, I tell you what, trolling Alabama rigs is going to outproduce live bait all day long right now down there on Lake Norman.
So I'll say that the live baiters are going to have a problem, especially with it supposed to be 17 degrees in the morning.
Let me ask you this, Peter. I put in Little Creek Sunday, and I zigzagged the main channel. I marked about 4 or 5 good spots where there was just absolutely loaded with bait, loaded with fish. And I went all the way up to marker 21. Your water temp south of 150 as you're looking at 50 plus. North of 150, you're looking at 50 below 50 degree water temp.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: if a guy wanted to take live bait out there, let's say he wanted to go down the Robinsons and buy about 6 dozen blueback herring. Okay,
He's out, by the way.
What's to say that you go out and you get over these 4 or 5 areas that are between a little south of Hager Creek and 150 that are just absolutely loaded with bait and hybrids. Let's say you get over these fish, they're suspended in, let's say 30 to 40 feet of water, 30 to 50 feet even. And you lower your blueback herring down to that depth, and you try to stay over those schools of fish, and you try to you Chinese fire drill. You're trying to work your ass off and try to catch fish on live bait. Is that going to outproduce somebody that's out there actually pulling lead core, pulling free lines, incorporating a downrigger, boards, pulling A rigs? Which one would you prefer? Which
I'm gonna
one
tell you right
think's gonna
now.
outdo the other?
No, as far as live bait, no.
Okay,
right?
you're gonna go artificial. I know because you don't ever use live bait. What about you, Anthony Johnson? Are you using live bait or using artificial?
If you show up for one moment,
If I got LYs, you can pull all them Alabama rigs you want, and I'm gonna beat your ass.
if you got alewives. Okay.
I'm gonna have them if I'm fishing down there. I'm gonna have them.
All right. Well, I have no idea how to catch alewives this time of year on Norman, but okay.
Do you want my honest
definitely give me
opinion?
one A rigs.
I'm gonna say this.
No,
and say it out
no,
loud
no,
for
no,
one
no,
last time
no,
here.
no. It'll be one on live bait.
Oh,
Guarantee it.
Dieter's
Guarantee
He's making a
Hey.
prediction. It's going to be one on
Yeah.
live bait.
Yeah.
Shall we bet liquor on it?
Does Dieter?
I got two guys that I think's gonna win it.
Okay.
Chuck Fetterplace is gonna be one,
Chuck
Okay.
Clark.
and damn,
Butch Foster.
no,
Real
no,
Smoke?
Stephen Hobbs.
Stephen
Stephen
Hobbs,
Hobbs
always
and
won,
Chuck
yeah,
Fetterplace.
absolutely.
Okay.
That's a good call. That's a good call on Hobbs.
Hobbs is going, yeah.
Well, Dieter, why don't you show up and film it so I won't have to?
Dude, I am on my way to Washington, D.C. at 4
my
a.m. tomorrow
God.
morning. Or
have
I
to
would be
film it.
fishing it and following Pete around so to catch all his scraps.
Yeah.
All right.
So to add to the comment right there, Chuck has tried very hard this week. He wants to beat my ass so fucking bad that he's fished every fucking day this week.
You are the guy to beat. You're the guy to beat.
Yeah, he's trying.
He's caught some big fish this week. Me
Yeah,
and
I'll tell
Chuck
you
talked.
You must
Oh,
be
yeah.
special.
I know. But here's the thing about Chuck. He chokes on tournament day.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a fucking choking hazard.
That's easy to do.
Yeah,
No, he's won it a good many times too.
he's done pretty good. All right, so if you want my honest opinion right now, you are better off this weekend fishing with crappie minnows than you are alewives. I said it.
Why you say that?
They're keying in on smaller baits.
Well, because hybrids have small mouths and they tend
No,
to use
no, it has
smaller
nothing-
baits. So
has nothing to do
crappie
with
minnows,
small mouths.
that's not out of the norm.
it has
to go
everything to do with
to
that
use the
they're
old
keying in on
crappie
small-
minnows.
Temperature,
Hold on,
the
JR, I
temperature
can't-
drop is going to change the game.
Yeah, hold on a minute. I can't hear
Okay.
Pete. What was you saying now?
They are keying in on smaller baits.
They're keying in on crappie minnows. What did you say, Dieter?
I think the temperature change is going to change the game as far
What do
as
you
all
mean the
these people
temperature
that were-
change? So below
got a
below
pretty
150,
big drop
you're going to
coming.
try to find the 53-degree water
I
temp
think you're
instead
going to
of the
have to
48?
slap some damn fish in the face to get them to bite.
JR,
I don't think you're going to hear about people having an on-fire bite on Saturday.
JR,
Okay.
I caught 20.
I talked to Chuck.
Where's your bar?
I talked to Chuck today, and I said, "You got plenty of bait?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "What you got?" Which I know he's got alewives. I said, "How big are they?" He said, 3.5 to 4 inches. So he got the prime bait right now.
If you got
Prime.
alewives, you got prime bait for sure. Now, what did you just say, Peter? Did you just lie to me? What did you say?
No.
What did you say?
You missed it. Too late. Too late.
Did you say you caught 20-something fish?
I caught about 22 pounds today in 4 fish.
22 pounds and 4 fish. Yeah, I'm going to call
I
bullshit.
caught over 30 today, just so you know.
I'm going to call bullshit. 30 pounds.
No, I said I
30
caught over,
fish.
I said I caught over 30 fish today, yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm calling.
30 fish or 30 pounds?
I'm
30
calling
fish.
bullshit.
I'd
30
say
fish. I'm calling
Four
bullshit.
biggest probably went over 22 pounds.
I'm calling
Easy.
bullshit.
Were all the fish hybrids, or were some of them crappie and white
I
bird?
mean, there's a mixed bag of everything, but as far as hybrids, I caught some good ones today.
Hey, there's Sonny.
I caught
Hey,
one
Sonny.
that was 25.25 inches.
What's up, brother? All right. Well, hey, good show.
We're not going nowhere. Take your ass drunk ass to bed. You go.
Hey, thanks for the invite, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks, Wes. Thanks, JR.
Fast Beater's dead.
Ah,
time.
buddy.
I said Beater's dead time. I meant Dieter's bedtime.
Appreciate it. Anytime I'm in a live show with Anthony Johnson, I'm kind of like humbled. So, Pete, I'm getting used to it.
You know,
What about me?
Damn.
What am I? Chop meat? What am I?
Anthony, just so you know,
Chocolate.
just the other day on my boat, they were calling you weed whacker charters. Just so you know that.
No.
Who was now?
Wes was. Wes was.
Wes was.
Yeah, he's talking about weed whacker charters.
No, Doug Cole.
That's Doug Cole.
Yeah, that's what Doug was saying the other week when I was at Santee.
Yeah.
He
I was
mentioned
laughing
that.
like that.
Weed whacker.
Hey, let me tell you something about Doug Cole. Y'all talking about catfishing? My opinion, Doug Cole, one of the best catfishermen that I've ever talked to.
Oh God! That
Oh,
goes to
shit.
show that goes to show you don't know shit about
That is.
catfishing.
He is.
You don't.
He
know
was good back in the day.
Anthony, we're gonna have to film something together after I get done with Billy. So just
Oh
put
yeah.
him on the list. So
He,
yeah,
that, just
got
ignore
to
him,
find me
Anthony.
an open day.
He's
We'll
been
make a
telling me
story.
he's wanting to do a podcast for the past year. Yeah, don't hold your breath.
Hey, I've got StreamYard now, so I can do it. So
I think JR, you're still waiting for Caleb Page that called you and said he wanted to do you. Big
Caleb Page,
podcast
Dieter
for you
Melhorn,
now.
all them guys, they're all alike. They're all full of a bunch
Then
of
they
hot air.
ghost.
Yeah.
Damn.
They ghost you.
Now, JR did me a video a couple years ago. Remember all that footage I did at the dam
Uh-huh.
in the bass boat?
Yep. You and
Me and Shane.
Shane Lineberger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we whacked the shit out of them.
I got to get Peter on my podcast too. He'll be fun. We'll tape ours in person though. I want to do yours with really good audio. We don't care what JR really has to say, but yours I want good audio on.
All right.
All right.
All right, I'm out of here, guys. Thank
See you,
you.
Dieter.
Good
All
luck.
right.
Good luck to y'all.
Take
See you, buddy.
care. See you.
So Anthony, you're not gonna fish the tournament with him?
No, I'm going to Murray, bud.
Well, hey, the other day when I
Pays
called you,
it pays 10,000 to win down there.
you never did tell me you were sorry. You know you owe me an apology.
For what?
You know what?
No, I don't.
What did you remember what I did Saturday?
Oh yeah.
Go ahead and just say, I'm sorry, Wes. You was right.
I'm sorry, Wes.
There you go.
I had to have some humble pie.
Hold on a minute. Hold on before you go, Anthony. Last year, me and Daryl Barney went up to Tennessee with Todd Asher, and we were just catching bait. We were just hanging out. And right before we got done, Todd, you know Todd Asher, if you know Todd, you really appreciate this. He looks over with that little shit-eating smile. He said, go live right quick and just keep the camera on the water. I said, do what? He said, we'll show you how to piss Anthony Johnson off. I said, hell yeah, let's do it. So I go live. I said, we live, baby. And I got the water. I'm showing the camera, and Daryl's catching L-wise. We're dropping catching L-wise. God damn, it went 5 minutes later. He starts texting me, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you going live? Blah, blah, blah. I said, hell, I don't even know what I'm doing over here. Todd actually told me to go live. No, man, Todd wouldn't have told you to do that. Todd probably don't even know you was going live. Until for a whole year and a half, Todd never confessed that he told me to do that live video. And I told him, I said, man, you need to tell. He said, I ain't telling Anthony shit. He said Anthony believes that you did that because you like to go live all the time. So Saturday, it just dawned on me. I called Anthony and I said, hold on a minute, Anthony. Scott, I said, I just got off the phone with Asher. He told me to call him back. I'm going to call him back three-way call it and let you hear it. So I got both of them on the phone. And I said, all right, Todd. I said, now anyway, we was talking about Anthony. I said, listen, buddy. I said, Anthony Johnson, to this day, he still swears up and down that I just did that on my own and that you didn't know nothing about it. And Todd said, yep. He said, we're going to keep it that way. He said, I ain't telling him nothing. I ain't telling him. I ain't changing that story for nothing.
Yeah.
I said, all right, Bo, let me go. I got another call coming in. So I hung up. And I told Anthony, I said, there you go. But I never did get an apology because I had to get off the phone.
Yeah. Old Todd.
Apology, brother.
Yeah, you can't. It's hard to get mad at a guy with a Middle Tennessee accent. So you can't get mad at Todd.
I got certain spots over there when I catch bait I don't let nobody know about.
Oh,
And then he go put it on blast. I was like, what the hell?
That's
Yeah,
right.
we was where you told us to go. Well, where do you have to go? That's why he told me to do that. But I was like, well, hell, it's dark. All you can see is the water. And he said, it don't matter. He said he'll raise hell. And it wasn't 3 minutes. He messaged me while I was doing the video. That shit was funny as hell. And I said, told me to do it. Oh, no, he didn't. Todd wouldn't have told you that. And I said, Todd, tell him. He said, I ain't telling him shit.
All right. Well, we're touching on some sensitive information here. So thanks for coming on, Anthony, man. We'll get you on another time. Appreciate it, bro.
Appreciate y'all, man.
See you, man.
Peter, good luck.
Good luck
Appreciate
on
it.
the
Take
tournament.
care.
Pete, good luck on the tournament.
We're going to try. JR, I sent you a photo here a little bit ago. I don't know if it got through.
Well, Pete, there again, buddy. Listen, I had a blast. You turned me on.
You sent me what, Peter?
I sent you a photo just moments
Oh,
ago.
you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's your bar for Saturday.
But anyway, Pete, again, I appreciate the trip the other day, dude. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate the numbers. And
Why you sending me them old pictures, man?
Shit, crazy hell.
hey, but I'm gonna try to get down there probably within the next 2 or 3 weeks. You think those fish will still be there?
Yeah, they'll be there.
Good deal. Who is that?
Yeah, you ain't bringing that to the weigh-in, brother.
You're probably right. Yeah,
I can tell by the water where you're at. You got to think it's muddy as shit past once you make that turn up river, Stumpy, Rocky, Hicks. Once you get up past Hicks, it's muddy as shit. So I know you're south of Hicks right there.
You
better be careful.
surprised.
You better
You'll
be careful
surprised.
sending me pics.
You'll be
Because I know
surprised.
Norman like the back of my hand.
You'd be surprised. Some of
Be
them creeks
careful.
are pretty clear. You
Careful.
don't,
Be
you
careful.
wouldn't know.
Come on,
You
Wes.
wouldn't know.
Wes, come down here so you can get on this ass whooping I'm about to put on this man.
Oh hell.
God, and you know I'm the official videographer for the HSBC, so you know if I finish ahead of Peter, it's gonna be one hell of a video.
I gotta win.
God
I
damn.
gotta win to get you this weekend. I can't.
Woo. Adding more pressure to this thing. Okay.
Ah,
Okay.
look, me and Ryan Spivey. I'm gonna tell you right now, me and Ryan Spivey's gonna put on a fucking clinic
Do
Saturday. We're gonna put on
Do
a
it.
fucking clinic.
it. Do it. I love the crap talk. You know, it's great ahead of the tournament. You know, makes it a little more fun.
That's right. Thomas J. Walker said JR gonna get skunked.
He ain't gonna be fishing in the right waters. Got the micro orgasms. That's a fact.
All right, boys. Hey, it's been an hour and a half.
Wow.
It's been a good show, and I guess we'll see you guys next week on Real Fisherman Tuesday night. This was a special episode because we went fishing Tuesday. We weren't able to do our show on the regular night. So next week, I guess we'll be on Tuesday night, and we'll see you Tuesday night at 8:00. Good night,
Hey, wait a
Wes.
minute,
Good
hold on,
night,
David
Peter.
Mercer. David Mercer, if you're still on here, I want a shirt like Pete Scott, but gray or black would be awesome. I wear a 2X.
All right, David, you heard
I
it.
didn't know they made. I didn't know he made kids shirts.
Yeah.
Good night. See you guys next week.
Peace.